How's it going, everyone? My name's Chris. I'm ModernMilt, Instagram handle. I'm here with Alicia at Pipeline 2024, and we're going to be talking about the MX system. So, hi, Alicia. How's it going?
Chris, it is going great. I feel so excited, obviously, that we just had our Pipeline 2024. I am interested to hear what you thought of the event and what really stood out to you.
Yeah, no, the event was it was very good. Lots of stuff to see, lots of stuff to cover, especially at your booth there. I liked all the MX line, especially for the concrete finishing side of things, to get out of the gas. That was neat. The plate tampers are good for the hardscapers and stuff, and yeah, it was one good show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am glad that you mentioned some of the products that we were showcasing on compaction. It's really exciting right now that we're expanding rapidly within the system, investing a lot, and hopefully you felt that a little bit yesterday. That was the goal, is just to show the breadth and how much we're really bringing to the table
Yeah.
in kind of a newer space for the industry.
Yeah, one thing I liked about the compaction was the accessories coming out, like the wheel for the plate tamper and
Yes.
the front water container. That'll help out a lot for the guys on site.
Yeah, absolutely. Those will be a game changer. I know the water tank is like great for asphalt and dust control, and that wheel kit is going to be key for moving it on and off site. So always looking at different little solutions to help get the job done easier.
When is the accessories coming out to market?
Yeah, so we're launching them kind of in phases, but all of them should be out by the end of the year.
Okay, perfect. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So one major question is why did Milwaukee come out with the MX system, the MX line?
Yeah, that's a question we get a lot because we really were the first within the industry to enter the space in a major way. So part of the reason why we started going after the light equipment space is, we are very focused as a business, of course, on our core trades. And part of that is doing product research to make sure that we are developing solutions that are meaningful and impactful. And as we were going out and doing research on M12, M18 products, et cetera, we were consistently seeing gas powered equipment, high power corded equipment on the job. And we were seeing many different issues and frustrations with those products. But when we were looking at how we could kind of tackle and try to problem solve, we realized, hey, we're going to need to bring a battery system that is beyond the capabilities of what we're doing today on M12 and M18. So that's really where MX Fuel was born. Was now we're bringing something that is designed to tackle the most demanding applications, like the biggest, baddest equipment on the job. And why battery? I think the biggest thing that we were seeing was on the gas side, all of the different issues and headaches around whether it's emissions, working in indoors, confined spaces, even in areas where maybe you're in a trench and all of those emissions are settling right. People were telling us, I'm leaving my job at the end of the day with a headache. I'm stinking like gas.
Yeah.
My partner comes home and I get chewed out for stinking. So just some of those examples, not to mention all of the issues with starting the equipment, the reliability, the constant maintenance and upkeep. Like, I'm sure, do you own any gas equipment yourself? And
Yeah,
what is that like?
I've used lots of gas equipment. Currently, or recently, I used the gas powered jumping jack in a waterproofing foundation project, and being in the hole, like you're running that all day, you're doing about 8 hours on it. Then yeah, you kind of get that stink on you, and sometimes if you don't get enough fresh air, it could go south real quick. But another good thing about the MX line, especially with your power screeds, I've used many gas powered power screeds in the past, rented them, had them through companies and stuff. My biggest thing was getting a power screed on site right before the concrete truck shows up, and you go to start the unit, but it doesn't want to run, right? So having the battery powered on that power screed will make it easier, and you don't have to have your string break on you right when the truck shows up and have to switch to do it manually. So
Right, absolutely. Yeah, the reliability on a pour is so critical because obviously the timing of that, right? If your equipment goes down, like the pour isn't waiting for anyone, right? Like it's happening and you
yeah,
have to potentially look at redoing it if you don't have the equipment ready to rock. So, um,
time is money.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. And at the end of the day, that's what we're really trying to solve within MX Fuel was ensuring that you had a reliable, emission-free, dependable, but still powerful solution that is going to essentially crush all of those gas headaches that you have while still maintaining all of the performance that you would expect out
Yeah,
of
the
that
quality.
equipment.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So I'm curious, when you look at some of our equipment here, is there anything that stands out to you that you're like, how the heck? Like, is this really going to have the power? Because I feel like when people first see this system, they're like, there's no way that you could do that on a battery. Like anything that you're a little skeptical of. or that surprises you?
So the pencil vibrator, concrete work. If you're in mid pour and you have the pencil vibrator going, your battery runs out. You're pouring concrete. Sometimes you don't have time to run down and grab another battery on site. I've had some feedback on that. Some guys have asked if they would eventually maybe put a power plug in there for worst case scenarios. I'm not sure if that's something you guys might be looking into for the pencil vibrator or not, but that's one of the questions that had come up with that. But you said, you wanna expand on that to pencil vibrator, and, exactly how much you can use on one battery charge?
Yeah, so today on our pencil or our briefcase vibrator, you could do about 70 cubic yards per charge, which generally speaking is good for like a residential, like multifamily environment where you're doing maybe like flat work. If you need extended runtime, we have that's with our XC 6 amp power pack. We do have two larger packs on our system. Our Red Lithium Forge XC 8 amp hour, which is going to give you about 33% runtime increase from the spec I just mentioned. And then if you really need extra runtime, our Red Lithium Forge HD 12 amp hour battery is going to double your runtime. So we are delivering larger packs now for those situations where, hey, I need to have the confidence that I'm going to get the runtime I need. And we also just came out with a new vibrator as well, our MX Fuel High Cycle vibrator. That is going to be paired with that 8.0 pack I just mentioned. And today that one comes in at about 130 cubic yards per charge.
So it's quite a bit.
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of runtime on that.
Yes, yeah, that's the, goal here is as we continue to grow and expand our system, we have to grow our capabilities on the battery side as well and ensure that we're keeping up with runtime demands of our users.
Have you had any feedback on the pain points on the vibrator system at all, or
As far as pain points go, I mean, with our solution, we've heard a lot of positive feedback. Example on the backpack vibrator, what that application looks like today with gas is you have someone running up behind you with a water bottle of gas and
pouring?
refueling it while you're running your equipment, right? So I'm going to spin it and hey, we've heard a lot of positive feedback, and now you don't have to worry about refueling while it's on your back, letting it idle. You have the emissions directly attached to you. I think the one piece of feedback that we have gotten is the runtime side, ensuring that users have the right packs with them. Right now, that backpack vibrator is kitted with our XC60. And then if you have someone who's doing a very large scale pour, may need to cycle packs more frequently.
Mhm.
That's where, hey, we're trying to really communicate the benefits of having the right size pack, the 8.0 or the 12.0 when you're doing larger scale work. So as kitted, maybe it's not the perfect runtime setup for everyone, but we have, an additional solution in our other big batteries.
Awesome. Another question I've had come up about your power trowel is the fact you have to push the power button on the unit
Mhm.
and then hit you up at the handles. You have to work the controls there as well. So um, when you're on a pour and you switch that switch on and you start going, it's better to have everything on the handle. Is that something that has come up in questions with you, or?
Yeah, we've heard a little bit of that feedback, and I think it's something we're going to continue to explore as we look at how we can always improve our product. Today, you push obviously the power on the we'll call it battery engine side itself. But it's not like the tool immediately turns on. I can understand though how, someone would like to just have it all in one on the user interface up at the handlebars. A lot of our other products are like that. The plate, the rammer, the green saw, you can kind of arm everything from the handlebar. So it's definitely an area that we'll continue to explore and how we can improve our products.
Awesome. Now, what's the runtime on a power trowel?
Yeah, so we have two different trowels on the MX Fuel line. Our smaller unit is our MX Fuel 24-inch edging trowel. With an HD 12 amp hour battery, that one is going to get you about 35 minutes of runtime. That's at full throttle if you let it all the way out. If you kind of dial that back, say to like medium throttle, you'll get around 45 to 55 minutes.
Okay.
On the larger trowel that we offer, our MX Fuel 36-inch trowel, that is going to deliver 25 minutes of runtime on high throttle as well.
Mm,
Again, same thing. If you kind of dial the throttle back, you can realize anywhere from 35 to 45 minutes if you're on low.
yeah. Now, have you guys looked into making bigger trowels?
Something that we're continuing to explore, especially as we, partner with our general contractors and even some people on like the civil side where they're doing larger scale work and they just want greater surface area. I think for us, if we go that route, we have to ensure that we are going to deliver the runtime
Mhm.
that that type of tool would demand and require, right? Because obviously, when you go bigger, it's going to suck more juice out of the pack and take
Yeah.
more power to deliver. So if we were to go different sizes of trowels or even different wet concrete products, is there anything you would want to see from us, or maybe your, audience would want to see from us, you think that we should explore next?
I mean, you got the ride-on ones. I don't know, that might be, like, way out of the realm of the MX
Yeah.
line because those are, like, heavy-duty gas, right? But, maybe you guys are already looking into doing that.
Never say never.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be sweet. I'd love to see it too. Is that something that you've used before? I've seen
I
them
have
at trade shows, so.
I've never used one before, but I've seen them used on sites, and it looks pretty fun with the controls and the guy just swinging around, like,
Mhm.
I couldn't imagine being on a high-rise, though, going right near the edge of on the high-rise on, let's say, 100th floor.
Yes.
That'd be tough. That'd be tough for me, but 'cause you never know what the equipment's gonna do.
Yeah.
So being part of the MX line, you get to go to site, the physical site, and talk with the guys. And is that your main research for the tools?
Yeah, so we are extremely reliant on partnering with our end users, right? We wouldn't be designing and developing products without actually going out on site and ensuring that we're seeing the application done in action, watching, waiting to understand what the frustrations are, and doing kind of almost even like interview style Q&A with some of the people who are using the equipment day in and day out. If we were designing and developing products in a bubble in our office,
Yeah.
we would never make the right thing, right? So that is a huge part of the role as a product manager is traveling across the country, hitting a wide variety of sites. Whether I, am in Miami, Florida on a high-rise build, or I'm out in Arizona on a mega job where they're building semiconductor,
Yeah.
facility, right? So the intent there is we're going out, we're bringing out prototypes, we're letting people just use them, abuse them, say do your worst, and tell us what we need to do differently. What's the ergonomics? How's the power? How's the runtime? Durability? Like we have a laundry list of things we're trying to explore and understand. And we essentially do this process over and over and over again until we finally get somewhere where now the feedback is coming in of, I don't want to give it back to you. Can I hold on to it?
Mhm.
This is a game changer for me. And it's like, okay, I think we're really close. Maybe we have a couple finite things to tweak. So really it's the constant loop of making sure we're out in the field, understanding all the headaches, frustrations, and opportunities that we can solve those issues early on within a project, and working closely with our engineers. They're the masterminds behind the
Yeah.
design, right? But at the end of the day, all of the design is really fed from, the people actually doing the work,
Yeah,
right?
the hands-on.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever gone to site and, someone said, "Okay, you do the job?"
Um, I have definitely been asked to trial and demo the tool, and my immediate response is, "Hey, like I'm not the pro. Like I could, but what's the point there? Like I need you guys to see it or do it."
Yeah.
Sometimes research can be a little funny. Like it's weird having to kind of not grill, but like pose a lot of random questions that sometimes people aren't really thinking about. So
Yeah.
I've had some funny experiences for sure
Yeah.
before. I've been up in you've probably been up in way crazier heights than I have, but I went up in a like boom lift, 70 feet high on a windy day. I don't know how you guys do. I was like chattering. It was the most terrifying thing.
That's a good height. That's a good height. Yeah.
It was a little freaky, yeah. Ha I was gonna ask, have you ever been a part of a research with Milwaukee Tool before?
No, I have not been part of research. I've always given feedback direct to my reps at Milwaukee and stuff, and coming to pipeline too. I see the new tools and instantly have questions. So I
Mhm.
ask the questions I think that would resonate better with my audience. So I try and get those. But maybe in the future we can get on site if I got something big going on. But
Sure, sure, yeah, and I think it's great that you pass along, obviously, feedback from your own experiences as well from your audience, because that's how we get better as a business, right? That's how we continue to improve. We're always looking at not just, how we can, um, destroy the competition, if you would, but we're always looking at how we can, push past our own, standings, right?
yeah,
Something that our CEO says is, like, "Complacency will be the death of us." So we're always trying to understand within our own line, like how can we always get better, always improve. So any feedback, and of course, I'm sure you get a lot of it
yeah.
with your viewers.
And also too is if any of my viewers got feedback or questions, you feel free to ask me. I get you the answers you need or looking for.
Awesome.
Yeah. Now, going to the MX battery itself, what kind of testing processes do you get in there? Because I know on sites you can be going really high temperatures and really cold temperatures. How's that process go for the testing on that?
Oh my goodness. We do rigorous product testing, not just on batteries, but on everything. You mentioned the temperatures. We have extreme heat, extreme cold tests. We have things called like gauntlet testing where we just throw them through the ringer. I mean, inclement weather, exposure to chemicals, concrete, shaken in a, machine
Yeah.
essentially, drops, you name it. Even in instances where, the batteries are really pushed aggressively under load, pushed to their limits, a lot of current draw, like what does that instance look like? So we have to do that right to
Mhm.
ensure that, you know, you you guys can really push our tools to the limitations.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that they're not going to fail and combust. So we've got a very rigorous test plan, which gives us the confidence that hey, if this passes everything, like we know hopefully it should withstand. But on top of that, that's why we field test as well, right?
Yeah.
We could do everything in a lab. It may not be 100% representative of what's going to actually go on the site.
Oh, for sure.
So we kind of do a two-handed, two-prong approach of our internal testing as well as that's why I drop units in the field and I go, please use and abuse, like put it through the ringer. That's going to tell us where we maybe have gaps or things that we're not really seeing as a risk within our own testing.
Now, from what you've seen, what's your biggest hurdle with the development of the MX line?
From a development standpoint,
Yeah.
let's see. I would say, generally speaking, um, as we look at runtime, right? There's things that we would love to go out and do. We need to ensure that we're always investing in, battery capability and ensure that we're hitting the runtime demands of our users. Um, I would say that's not necessarily a developmental hurdle, more so it is just time and making sure that we're, making the right decisions from
Mhm.
an investment standpoint. I think the other piece here too is thermals. Some of these products, the 14-inch cutoff saw is a great example, draws a lot of power. Like there's some competitors within the space that aren't touching that product today
Mhm.
because it's very challenging to design. So thermals is a very big challenge here as well because you're pushing so much power. Of course, naturally you are going to heat up the tool and the battery. That being said, we've really done a good job, especially over the past year, overcoming some of our thermal limitations with technology like our Forge batteries and our Cool Cycle on the supercharger. In those instances when you're using the 14-inch cutoff saw, you're fully embedding it into concrete and that tool and pack is getting really hot. When you take that forge pack off of your tool, throw it on the supercharger, that has active cool cycle, which is really going to pull cool air through the battery,
Yeah.
cooling it off a lot faster, ensuring that when it comes off the charger, significantly shorter charge rate, put it up back on the tool, you're going to get the best performance because that pack is cool.
Yeah.
So it was a risk that we kind of understood, and as we were developing the system, came out with that, pairing to really ensure that we're giving the best experience to you, but also protecting the cells and protecting essentially the battery and the electronics within the system.
Mhm. Yesterday at the demonstration out in the field there, especially with the cutoff, I brought up a question about weight and stuff, and then you had the accessory of the battery being able to plug into the saw and
Yes.
have it on the side, so you're only having the weight of the saw, not the physical battery on it as well. That was a really neat feature that I think will be handy for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Do you wanna touch on that a little bit? Like
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that you felt that difference as well. So, we're always looking at how we can continue to improve ergonomics and reduce fatigue, right? When it comes to our handheld equipment, things like the 14-inch cutoff saw or core drill, absolutely, there's instances where you may be using it continuously over the course of the day. And we got that feedback of, hey, is there any way you could lighten this up a little bit in those instances where maybe you're doing repetitive cutting or repetitive drilling into walls? So the MX Fuel portable battery extension was the solution to that, where we are now allowing you to take all of the battery weight off of the tool, essentially right into that console that you saw yesterday. And what that's going to allow you to do is realize up to 45% lighter tool weight, but you're not compromising on power and you still get all of the same runtime that you would expect out of the pack. So another great example there is, hey, if you are using the cutoff saw and you need the most runtime, you could use our Forge 12 amp hour battery, which is going to give you 18 feet of cut on one charge. but you don't have to take on any of that weight. You can completely keep it off tool. So we've gotten a lot of positive response on that as well, especially for people who are cutting open, window openings, doorways, a lot of like that repetitive cutting, people building out patios,
Mhm.
retaining walls, where they're doing just repetitive cuts. And it's definitely, I think, helped a lot of people and been a solution to that feedback that maybe we were hearing on ergonomics.
Now, do you have any certain lengths? Like, how long is that length of cable right now for the tool?
Yep. So that's an 8-foot length total tether.
Now, are you looking at getting longer lengths, or is that going to affect the performance of the battery to the tool?
I think we could explore various lengths. Right now, why we selected 8 feet was because it gave enough range for kind of the most common applications with the cutoff, with the core, and even with the breaker. Um,
Yeah, without getting caught up and yeah.
exactly, right? Because at too short, you're kind of limited in movement. At a certain point, too long, you've got a lot of tether going on. And then there is some voltage drop and things like that
Mhm.
where that you have to account for. So
The engineering side will take care of that part.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right, that's their problem, but, no, if as we continue down this road and, we see more pairing with other tools and there's a need for a longer tether or a shorter tether, we'll go there for sure. That's not a difficult one for us to add.
Now, you working with the MX line, what is your favorite tool that is out right now?
Honestly, my favorite tool today is the MX Fuel 14-inch cutoff saw with rapid stop. I think it is an awesome testament to the power that we're able to deliver on the system. You tried it yesterday. I mean, that thing absolutely just cuts through concrete like butter. It is one of those things where people pick it up, trial it, and they're like, this feels just as powerful, if not more powerful than my gas, but you don't feel the shakiness, the heat, the exhaust that is that gas engine.
Yeah, that's
Um,
one thing I noticed,
yeah.
when I was running that cut. You didn't feel that, it was just going, and I was like, "Wow, this is nice."
Yes.
Yeah.
But what did you think of the power side? Like
I pushed it hard, and it didn't even bog down. I mean,
yeah.
I only did, like, about 3-foot cut, but,
Mm.
so you're saying you can get about 18 feet? Is that full depth cut?
So as kitted, it comes with an 8 amp hour pack. On an 8.0, you're gonna get 14 feet of cut. That's at full depth. So 5 inches depth in concrete. If you were to pair it with the 12.0, that's when you're gonna get about 18 feet of cut per charge.
Okay,
Yep.
nice. Now, looking in the future, is there anything you can tell us about what's coming down the pipeline?
Yeah. So today, the system has 23 solutions on it, right? And we cover a wide variety of different categories and phases of construction. So we're playing in site prep today, right? With our compaction products and even our new dewatering solution, the MX Fuel 1 horsepower, 2-inch submersible pump. You could definitely expect us to continue to expand and invest within that space. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback on compaction, and that's definitely an area we're continuing to look at. On the concrete side, we are a complete solutions provider for the wet concrete contractor, right? Everything from consolidation with our 3 vibrators, everything from leveling with our screed, which takes up to 16-foot bars, our 2 trowel solutions, and our green saw. That is an area that we're going to continue to invest and focus in. And we're really proud to be able to provide a completely emissions free pour. So that's definitely an area that we're going to continue to focus on as well. When it comes to MEP, that's a core focus for Milwaukee and always has. We're going to continue to look at dedicated solutions to the mechanical and plumbing contractors as well as electricians. And then lighting and portable power. I mean, you saw us come out with our new light this year, our MX Fuel compact tower light.
Yeah.
That one is definitely going to be, I think, a game changer for people who have wanted an MX Fuel lighting solution, but haven't really been able to leverage the rocket tower light due to space constraints or mobility
Yeah.
and moving it in and out of the vehicle. So, long and the short, we're playing a lot of areas today. We're not going to, you know, just really focus on one specific vertical, right? MX Fuel is a system for all of the core trades.
Yeah.
And really, we're just going to be intentional about continuing to pick products and areas where we see the biggest frustrations and headaches with our customers.
So you're basically just honing in to what you wanna cover within all the trades before you start going vertical and developing better and easier to run equipment.
Yes,
Yeah.
essentially, yeah, right. And I think also part of it is we get a lot of our product roadmap ideas from, again, doing research. Like if I go out and I ask, what would you want to see us do next here? Like that's where a lot of our ideas come from is, hey, like, have you ever thought about doing this?
Yeah.
And I don't just come up with product ideas and pick one out of a hat, right? Like a
Yeah.
lot of it is coming from, you, your viewers, the people who are really doing the work day in and day out, and tell us what they want to see next.
Yeah. And when you're working your station, you get probably a lot of questions from everyone, a little more feedback. You write all those down and you bring them back to the engineering team, or you have a group that gets together and develops off those ideas?
Yes, absolutely. So we have a formal process every single year, which is a large scale review, not just with engineering, but with marketing leadership. Essentially, our entire executive team is involved. And it's where we pull together a culmination of all of the feedback, all of the research we've done over the course of the year, and essentially build a business case of where do we go next
Yeah.
and why. And all of that is really rooted in the input and feedback that we're getting from, our partners in the field, our viewers. So it's a really cool, exciting process. They alluded to it yesterday during that panel, and it's really Shark Tanky is kind of the language that they used. But again, it's all driven by all of the feedback. And yes, coming out of this, I had a laundry list of different notes and things like that that I'll be sharing out with my team because all of us want to again continue to understand how we can improve, push forward. The next one time around, how can we do better? So
Thanks, Alicia, for sitting down with me here and talking about the MX Fuel line. I'm once again ModernMilt, Chris Milton, and I'm excited to see what comes down the line for the 2025 pipeline.
absolutely. We can't wait to have you back next year, show you where we're going next. There is a bright future, not just within Milwaukee Tool, but within MX Fuel. We are not taking our foot off the gas. No pun intended. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.